Good evening, all. My name is Maya Menon, and on behalf of the Teacher Foundation, a very warm welcome to this webinar on self-driven PD using technology. PD is, of course, professional development. Since the onset of the pandemic, TTF has been organizing webinars periodically in lieu of our in-person school leaders collectives. And we've had both national and international education specialists sharing their insights with our loyal audiences of school teachers and principals. It's important for us to distinguish between in-service training and continuing professional development. It's often used interchangeably. In-service training or INSET is what schools, school boards, departments of education organize to disseminate information and knowledge about a vital teaching or education related issue. For example, the National Education Policy of 2020. But continuing professional development, or CPD as we call it, is when individual teachers take charge and ownership for their own growth as teachers or school leaders. CPD is what you do for your growth. And INSET is what gets done to you for institutional growth and development. Both are needed, and TTF offers both. Today's webinar, however, is on CPD, Continuing Professional Development, where you take charge, therefore self-driven PD. I'm thrilled to have my senior colleague, Sandhya Shivaprasad, and a key TTF collaborator, Sundar Soman, sharing this virtual space. Sundar Soman has been an entrepreneur for over 25 years, and over the past decade, he has focused on building digital products that foster collaboration and professional communities. He is the co-founder of Crowd Communications Technology that has developed the Forever platform. The Forever platform powers the TTF app, the Teacher Foundation app. Sandhya Shivaprasad is head of training and content at TTF. Sandhya has been a teacher and trainer for nearly 2 decades. She has an intuitive and native facility with technology for teaching and training. She began her career as an English language teacher, handling both national and international school curriculums. Her foray into training began with English language training, as well as communication skills, soft skills for adults and professionals from diverse backgrounds. So welcome everybody. With this brief introduction, I hand over to Sandhya. Over to you, Sandhya.
Good evening and welcome everyone. So as Maya already told us what CPD is, there is this quote by Professor Dylan William: every teacher needs to improve, not because they're not good enough, but because they can be even better. I think I love this particular quote because I think it underlies the need for PD, why each of us as teachers needs to pay attention to continuous professional development, right? For our own growth, not because we're not good enough, but because we can be better, right? I'm sure there have been days as teachers where we've wondered whether we're doing the best we can, whether there are other ways to teach something, and that niggling question, how are other teachers handling this particular concept? I'm sure there have also been instances where we face challenges inside our classroom and outside our classroom, and we're looking for effective and simple solutions to tackle these challenges. And as teachers, we're always on the lookout for better resources, for effective resources to maximize learning. So where's the answer to all of this? It lies in professional development. So all activities that we undertake to develop our skills and knowledge, expertise, and other attributes as a teacher, I think could come under the umbrella term professional development. Professional development itself has 2 factors. I would say professional development, that is your professional development as a teacher, has 2 important factors. One is understanding the school needs and expectations. I think this is what Maya referred to as the in-service training, the goals of the school. But yes, that is very important. And this also lets us know that we are part of an institution. As teachers, we are part of an institution. We need to understand the values, the mission, and the vision of the school, and also understand that we are not working in isolation. We're part of a collective mission. But that has to be supplemented with understanding of oneself, understanding one's goals, understanding one's needs, understanding one's priorities. So all of this is what would make both of these, rather, in alignment, is what would make professional development or individual development more effective. Now, before this webinar, we had conducted a pre-webinar survey, which many of you have responded to. And there were a few questions, and I'd like to share the responses to those questions with you. Question number one was, who decides the nature of professional development interventions that you undergo? 2/3 of the respondents have said that schools and department heads decide the nature of the PD interventions. About 31% somewhere with teachers have a hand at it, and or even department mandated as well. A minuscule percentage. Another question that we asked was, which PD activities have you been a part of? Now, an overwhelming majority, that is 86.2% of the respondents, have said workshops. Not surprising, since more than 2/3 of the people, respondents, have said that it is the school that decides, the nature of the PD interventions. Now let's have a look at the other avenues for for professional development and the traction that it has got. So in terms of education conferences, seminars, we're talking of 37.9%. So somewhere in the range of about less than 40%, you have education conferences or seminars, qualification programs, and engaging in informal dialogue about teaching. But things like participation in a teacher network, individual or collaborative research, reading professional literature, peer observation visits to other schools. I think all of these things that as teachers we can undertake somewhere has got very low traction, which makes me wonder that as a teacher community, are we saying that somebody else is responsible for our professional development? Are we saying that our professional development lies in somebody else's hands? Let me take you through, very quickly, take you through the skill development model, also called the conscious competence model, developed by Noel Burke at the Gordon Training International, where he talks of how competence is built. Now, it could be with respect to teachers or any individual, actually. Right? So at the beginning of skill development, most of us are in the unconscious incompetence stage. Now, let me take an instance here. See, before the pandemic, most of us, when it came to using technology as a part of teaching and learning, I think we were oblivious, or we couldn't care less, or we didn't think that was so important, right? But then something happened, a need arose, or we were forced to do it, or we came across things, and then we became aware that yes, technology too could be an integral part of the teaching learning mode. So now, just by awareness, we move up a notch in skill development, and we reach the conscious incompetence stage. Now you may say, oh, you didn't know it before and now you know it, and what's the big deal? The big deal is now that you're aware of your need for development, becoming conscious of the need for development, okay, which is a big motivator, mind you, in professional development. Okay, now that we are aware of our need, I think the next step, the next logical step is to get training, feedback, or to involve ourselves in various professional development activities. So once you indulge in such activities, we get onto the conscious competence stage. Let's go back. Let's recall many of us who use technology for the very first time. Just think of that first time you used it. So much of effort, so much of collaboration, so much of review, so much of hand wringing, constant back and forth, with a lot of effort, a lot of focus. That is needed in skill development. We're now aware of the procedures required, but we're doing it consciously and with a lot of effort. But with constant practice and application, one reaches the unconscious competence stage. That is, it becomes like second nature, or a habit almost. Friends, I urge you to have a look at this conscious competence model. For me, the thing that strikes me here is that skill development, professional development, competence development starts with the teacher and ends with the teacher. Training opportunities can be organized, by someone. But it is the teacher who has to realize the importance of it, must feel the need for it, and it is a teacher who needs to practice and apply. Right? It has to be self-driven. Professional development has to be self-driven. It reminds me of this adage that you can take a horse to the water, but you can't make it drink. So you can provide opportunities, can be provided by someone, but the actual act of development has to be driven by the individual himself or herself. So this comes to a very, very important aspect, that professional development, where teacher agency, where there is the aspect of teacher agency is very strong, that is the development that is most successful. To put it in simple terms, teacher agency is the capacity of teachers to act purposefully and constructively to direct their own professional growth. So you can say it begins with the vision, the goal, the institution's vision, the teacher's vision, and then followed by a very important step of reflection, where the teacher is reflecting on her current stage, so to identify the gaps, the need for development, the areas for improvement. And then it's important that we get involved in a self-driven professional development. So even if you're attending a workshop that is organized for you by somebody else, it is up to you to take interest, to generate ideas for your class, for your needs. And then the very important thing as teacher agency is to next implement it, to implement those ideas, and then again to reflect on the efficacy of that implementation, to acknowledge what is the growth that has happened. So teacher agency then is an integral part of professional development, and everything begins with the teacher taking the effort to identify his or her needs. Right? So as part of the pre-webinar survey, we had asked another question which says, what according to you is your biggest PD need? Here I present to you a spectrum of needs that our different respondents have said. I think the ones that are standing out here are student discipline and behavior problems, ICT training skills, classroom management, and then I think a percentage of them saying school management and administration, the student assessment practices, another percentage. And you can see that student social and emotional learning doesn't even figure in the spectrum. Maybe are we still in the unconscious incompetence stage, where we don't even realize that this SEL, or student emotional learning, is such an important aspect of student learning and outcomes, right? But I want to, the purpose of presenting is to let you know that as individuals, we have various needs, right? Another one, the other question that we asked was, what according to you would make PD quite effective for you personally? And you can see that as varied as the needs are, so are the expectations. Many of you have said, if something that addresses my need or the school's needs. There have been some respondents who've said PD would be effective when one gets to interact with others, or when there's activity, when it's activity based and it focuses on subject enrichment. There are others who say that when it helps them solve problems in their classes. And another expectation is that when it focuses on instructional techniques or it focuses on implementation. There are some others who prefer one-to-one positive and constructive feedback, and others and a large majority saying that the expectation is that it should be in the blended learning mode. So there are various needs, there are various expectations, there are various goals in professional development. So it means in order to make professional development effective, I think we need to, as schools, school heads, training organizations, individuals ourselves, need to focus on all of these 5 P's of effective professional development. The purpose, that is the intent and the interest, which it can't only be somebody else's, but every individual's purpose and intent is what should be met as part of professional development. Personalization, that is, how is it relevant to the person who is attending the professional development, who's undergoing professional development? Is it the priority in terms of how important is it, in terms of the time, in terms of how quickly we want to do it, how fast we need to do it, right? In terms of the passion, in terms of our motivation levels to do PD, we need to ensure that we sustain that. And very importantly, a professional learning community. And all of this is now very easily enabled by technology. Technology provides us with tools and techniques to do all of this very well, to gauge needs, to personalize it, to allow for anytime, anywhere learning, to provide tools like leaderboards and various such things that keep you motivated, that let you know where you are, that helps you track your own learning, and to help and connect with others in the professional learning community. Now, I'd like to say that at TTF, we've understood this. Having been in the teacher training or in this education space from the last 20 years and counting, we've understood that technology has a lot of answers, and we should be leveraging technology for professional development. So we have developed the competence, and we also offering services that use technology. Many of our trainings now are online, and we offer them in different modes, in synchronous and asynchronous modes. We ensure that learning material is available to participants, anytime, anywhere, or on a platform when they want it. Maya already told us that we have webinars, we have podcasts, different modes, not just workshops, webinars, podcasts, but we've thrown open online certification programs so that even individuals who want to register can come to our general workshops. And more we realized the importance of putting together a professional learning community. Friends, all over the world you see, and in different professions, all people of different professions band together to exchange best practices, to exchange ideas. But somewhere as teachers, when it comes to interacting with each other, to form a network, I think we hesitate, we're reluctant. When we talk of a professional learning community, also called community of practice, it's basically, you can say, it's a group of teachers who share a common concern, a common need, a common passion, and they interact, collaborate, communicate with each other to arrive at solutions. And people all over the world are doing it. Accountants do it, doctors do it, architects do it. Why shouldn't we teachers do it? So at the Teacher Foundation, we understand the need for it, and thereby we urge you, and we realize that this is something that we should now foster, and we've already been working at it from the last 1 year. Just a quick run through what can happen in a teacher community, right? Simple things like exchanging ideas that are working in terms of best practices in each other's classrooms, uh, also exchanging, putting out, seeking help in terms of the challenges that we face in our classrooms, and asking and ensuring and getting ideas from our colleagues, from peers in our community about how they handle it, providing solutions to others, finding out alternatives, sharing ideas, and seeking ideas. So in a professional community, in a professional learning community, there are various things that we can do: seek, confirm, clarify, discover, share, debate, decide, and discuss. So a number of things are possible in the professional learning community, through which one can drive our own professional development. So as I already said, from the last 1 year, along with workshops, along with webinars, along with podcasts, TTF has also invested a lot of time and effort in starting and fostering this professional learning community through the TTF app. Now, many of you, those of you who registered for this webinar, must have already received the invite to join the app. If you haven't done so, you can still download the TTF app on Google Play or App Store and use this code that you can see here. But to give us a little more information about what is this application, what is this platform, and how we can leverage it, and how we can tap into it, I invite Sundar Soman, our partner, our technology partner, who has helped us create this platform. Sundar, over to you.
So hello, everybody. It's wonderful to be here. And thank you, Maya, for inviting me. I'm going to start by talking about the platform's key benefits to teachers in our community. Firstly, as a member of the Teacher Foundation community, your engagement on the platform will contribute to your mandated professional development time. And once you complete registration, you can leverage the platform for professional development via access to courses and content provided by TTF and also TTF's partners. Now, these courses and offerings will, over a period of time, be automatically aligned around your interests and academic focus as well. You will also have access to free curated resources for your personal development and for use in classrooms during your teaching sessions. Now, for the most important part, you will have instant and responsive access to TTF leadership, trainers, partners, and mainly other teachers from across the country. Now, this is your TTF ecosystem. It's a single point destination where you can find answers to your questions instantly, seek and offer help, learn, participate in contests, and engage meaningfully whenever you sign in. Now, a significant capability of this platform is personalization. So people, content, product, services are all aligned around your interest areas. There is absolutely no clutter. Unlike perhaps on WhatsApp, where if you are part of a large group, you're forced to see everything everybody posts there. I mean, everybody, all of us are here are familiar with this kind of a situation. But on the TTF app, the content you see is always relevant and personalized to you. And as your interests and needs change in time, the platform will again realign. Now, let me share my screen and give you a short walkthrough of the platform. Sandhya will then take over and show you how you can engage and collaborate as well. So I've just started the TTF app. And after you register, there's a very simple registration process that everybody will go through, starting with invitation via WhatsApp or via email with a unique code that you can use during the registration process. And once you complete the registration process, you land on a very personalized home feed like this. And you'll instantly see it's rich and familiar, like most social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, etc. So if you're comfortable using those platforms, this is a no-brainer. You can actually use this very, very easily and effectively. And all the content in here, so this is where we become unique. All the content in here is aligned around your interest areas. There could be, hundreds or thousands of such content elements that are floating around the platform. But what you see on your home feed is personalized and relevant only to you because it's completely mapped into your interest areas and focus areas. And just moving up to the top, there are a few components I want to quickly show you. So TTF as a brand, has several courses and offerings that they want to actually offer you. And these are banner ads that are created by them. And they promote their courses and offerings in a highly targeted manner. I mean, leadership training will be visible to people who are interested in and focusing on the leadership training, leadership. So this is how you will become aware of the many programs and services that are offered to the teaching community by Teacher Foundation and their various partners. And from time to time, you're going to see these question cards. And the objective here is to help the Teacher Foundation understand what really interests you. Among the courses, many courses and offerings and programs that they offer, what really truly interests you. You can select what you think is relevant, and and several other questions that it'll be great if you can answer. And the main objective here is to help the brand understand what really interests you and subsequently offer things that are tailor-made. Right? You pick and choose what interests you, and subsequently they will ensure that content and programs, services, etc., that actually map your interests are made available to you. Over a period of time, this becomes automated, and whenever you log in, whatever interest declarations that you've already made out here through posting content, selecting responses to these question cards, responding to other people's comments, all of them will work and ensure that what reaches you is absolutely relevant and personalized. And what you see here is exactly that. So you can post content on your own, and later on, Sandhya will show you how that's done. And it's going to be an interesting exercise immediately after this. So this is the home feed, right? It's continuously evolving, continuously aligning around your interest areas. So today you may be interested in 3 or 4 different topics. Tomorrow it could change, and all the content, products, services available on the platform will realign around your new interest areas. Moving on to the next part of this demo. So this is where the communities exist. Right at the top, you see something called featured zones. Now, featured zones are offerings by the Teacher Foundation and their partners and engagement spaces for the teaching community. So you'll see areas like the staff room, where you as teachers can actually post anything that you think, post and share, request and seek help, and do all of this. You have resources and libraries, where you can have curated content available for your personal development and for usage in classrooms. Now, the exciting thing here is anybody here can contribute content. You as teachers, I'm sure, come across content and important, potentially useful pieces of reading material that you can perhaps share in this resources and library, and it'll, I'm sure, be valuable to everybody else in the community. And like that, content and services and products offered by the Teacher Foundation, its partners, all of that will be available and accessible to everybody via these featured zones. Now, private zones, on the other hand, can be created by anybody, including you. I mean, you as an institution head can perhaps create a private zone and invite your entire teacher fraternity into that group. And you can use the capabilities of the platform to stay in touch, collaborate, engage, share content, and not just with teachers in your own institution, but across institutions as well. You immediately see the value there. I want to quickly show you what the inside of a zone looks like. So I'm just going to take you into the bulletin board. So the bulletin board is where the Teacher Foundation posts things that are important to them as a brand. And you have leaders here, Rashmi, Sheila, Maya, all very familiar faces, I'm sure, that you can engage with one-on-one, ask them questions. And all the content in here is related to what the brand offers as value to the teacher community. And around each of these content elements that are posted, conversations can emerge. You can actually post comments. People can respond. You can like what is posted. You can even share content out here. For example, if you find this interesting, you can repost it internally, or if you want to share it with among teachers and other people who are not yet registered on the platform, you can use your personal messaging and social media channels to do so. There are many other elements to this platform that you will discover as you go. So for now, what I'm going to do is hand over to Sandhya, and she's going to actually show you how you as part of this community can benefit from the platform. So over to you, Sandhya.
So Sundar's told us a lot of wonderful features of the TTF app and how it could be leveraged. So I thought this would be a great opportunity for us to try it out, right? So I think one thing that he mentioned was resources curated by TTF. So I think I'd like to start with that. So let's today try and test out and examine various things that we can do on the app. And let's start off with the curated resources by TTF. Now, before I go here, I hope that all of you are on the app. All the people in the webinar, I hope you're all on the app. If not, I request you to go on to Google Play Store or on the Android, download the TTF app and use the code. I think Rashmi or Harish can put the code for the TTF app on Zoom chat, and you use that and download it. But even if you can't do that, you find it difficult, I urge you to have a look at this demonstration to see how your peers are using it and how this app could be leveraged, right? So friends, let's start with number one. Okay, finding out about examining curated resources by TTF. So the best way to do that is to go to zones. Okay, and you can see the featured zones here. Sundar just showed us the bulletin board where TTF posts different things. But if you want to get those resources, then the resources and library is a great place where you have where different people from TTF curated, wherever we find good, authentic resources that are really useful. Now, of course, you have resources galore on the internet, but how effective are they? But here you have specialists who are doing this for you, right? For finding out good resources and sharing this with you. So here is a resource called the DICE debrief that our Maya Menon has shared. So I thought we could try and use this. Let's find out how effective this is. Now, I have a dice with me to test this out, right? I'm going to roll the dice. I'm going to roll the dice and okay, here we go. It's number 3. Okay, describe a good idea that you heard. Okay, so far, let's give it another one. Describe a good idea that you've heard so far. Now, all of you who are all on the app, I request you to go into the resources and libraries zone and then go on to the DICE debrief. It is right there on top. It's pinned there right on top. So that is something that we can do, and get to the comment section and add your comments there about this, about a good idea that you have heard so far as part of this webinar. Can we have a few? Okay. So Marian has just said, I just heard how to use the TTF app for my own PD. Wonderful, Marianne. Veena says app is a one-stop resource for teachers, and she gives us 2 hearts. Rishma says responsibility for my own professional development is on me. Yes, lovely. So, okay, Rashmi is saying teachers can collaborate with each other on this app. Wonderful. So lots of lovely comments. Thank you. Of course, you can like, dislike the comments. Okay, Nidhi says how teachers themselves could be drivers of self-growth. Yes, and she puts a question mark to it. Yes, of course. Sharing of resources to the app is the best, Shri Priya says. Okay, lovely. So let's go back and continue with this DICE debrief. Right, so I'm rolling the dice again. I'm rolling the dice again. And there you go. It's number 6. Number 6. So the question number 6 is, how will you apply what you learned today? How will you apply what you learned today? How will you apply what you've learned today is the question. So let's see what you say. Plethora of opportunity by sharing our learning with peers. Shri Priya saying that on Zoom itself. Okay. Nidhi is again put it on the app here. She says, leverage technology and optimize opportunities for professional development. Wow, okay. By giving time to explore the app and help better myself. Yes, absolutely. Using resources. Yes, using the resources from the TTF app and plan interesting lessons. Yes. Thanks, Rishma. So I urge you, go ahead. There are lots of wonderful, interesting resources that have already been curated. And it's up to us as a professional community to further this. Whatever work is working in your class, go on, share it with your professional community, take comments from them. I think that's going to just increase our confidence, right? Okay, now another way to use the TTF app is for brainstorming. It's a wonderful way to use the TTF app. That is, especially if I'm short of ideas or I want just a collection of ideas, then a great way is to interact with your peers using the TTF app. So this is how I'm going to do it. I'm on my home page right now, and you can see it says Hello Sandhya, and it's under What Say You, right? I'm going to choose the option Ask. You can see that's highlighted now, and I want to have some ideas about how can we in a sense, we as teachers, continue to leverage technology even after physical school has resumed. Okay, so all of us were really forced to use technology, but now that school, even physical school has resumed, how can we continue to use this? Okay, so I'm going to now, below you can see there's a send here, but before I do that, I need to add topics. Okay, now this is the most important feature of the TTF app that allows us to personalize, so that people who are only interested in this are able to see this. And if you're not interested in a particular topic, you can anyway unfollow it. So I'm just going to say technology is a topic. Yes. Teaching is a topic. Okay, I think I'll put two topics for now, and then I'm going to send it to, I'd like to discuss with all my peers, so I'm going to send this to the Zone staff room, right? And there you go, I'm saying send. There it is. Here's the question for you. How can we continue to leverage technology even after physical school has resumed? So let's have some ideas. How can we do that? All of you on this particular app are a part of the staff room app because it's a public zone. On the staff room zone, sorry, because it's a public zone. So you already have access to this particular question. So help me. Please generate some ideas. Let's brainstorm. How can we continue to leverage technology even after physical school has resumed? So as we are putting up our question, ideas here, I think I'd like to read out Rujita's comment on Zoom chat, where she says, "Learning never ends. Some new technology to move ahead, and it's a very user-friendly app." And Jude has said, "Motivation is a startup, and perseverance is a habit." Yes. So persevere. I think it's up to us to persevere, to develop personally, professionally, and to drive our own development rather than expecting somebody else to do it for us. Right? So let's have a few ideas here. How can we continue to leverage technology even after physical school has resumed? What do you think? I'd like some ideas here. I'm just updating my feed, just in case I've missed a few responses. Oh yes, there are some responses that I had missed. Says, okay, so it says, Maya Menon has written, using a range of digital tools for student collaboration. She says Padlet, Google Jamboard, etc. I think this is a great suggestion, and I'd like to vote for it, right? Swapnil has said he can use the TTF helpline to brainstorm, find ideas to address the mental well-being needs of his students. Oh, that's wonderful. He wants so remember, we have a school well-being zone, so lots of ideas in that particular zone. Shakti that says continue to have parent-teacher meetings online. Oh wow, this is wonderful, Shakti. I think it's a great idea, and you can see now that already lots of different people have upvoted different things. So let me just refresh my feed. Right, so you can see lots and lots of people already voting for this. Vote for one or the above. Now the interesting part about this is we can use the ask feature to get ideas from different people, yeah, brainstorm. But also I think the voting feature is very interesting because it allows me to build consensus, to understand the trend, right? So that gives me some direction to take after this brainstorming session. So lots of interesting things here. Thank you so much for doing this, for participating in this. Right now, another way that I like to use this app, I like to use this the TTF app, especially for professional development, is also as a poll, as a survey, especially when I'm confused about choices, about which is the right way to go, right? So I'd like to show you how the poll feature can be used and how I use it. So I'm back on my home page, and again, I'm going back to my feed that says what say you, but this time I'm choosing the poll option. Okay, so it says run a poll on, and I'm typing my poll question. Okay, here's something that I'd like to know. Do you think being a part of a professional learning community is helpful for teachers? I hope there are no typos, right? And I'm giving option 1 as yes, option 2 maybe, option 3 not sure, need more info. Okay, option 4 no, it's not. Okay, I'm giving you even 4 options, and I think I'm going to take that any other option also, right? And now I'm going to say again, I need to add topics. So I will say teacher network, oops, teacher, okay, network, yes, professional. You can add any topics of your choice. And then again, I'm going to send it back to my staff room because I want everyone's ideas about this. And there you go. I've posted this. So as I already told you that the staff room is a public zone, which means you have access to this question. I request you to give me your ideas about this. What do you feel? Do you think being a part of a professional learning community is helpful for teachers? Oh, with overwhelming response, 9 of 9 people already saying yes, it is. Right? So I'm instantly saying yes. So I can understand the mood, the trend that people, yes, they feel that it is useful to be part of a learning community. So here's another way to interact and collaborate, to get ideas and responses from peers as part of this community, right? And the last thing that I think I'd like to discuss with you today is not only is TTF curating resources for you, but we urge you also to share resources and ideas that have worked for you. Okay, and here's a great way to share resources. right? I'm going to show you, do a quick demo of how resources could be shared. On YouTube, I found a wonderful resource, a wonderful, beautiful video that talks of how to conduct a meeting, especially for student well-being, to get students to share their thoughts and ideas. It's called Example of a Responsive Advisory Meeting. So I really love this, and I think this is something that all of us can really use in our classrooms. So I'd like to post this on the app. I'm going to the share option. I'm copying the link. And now I'm coming back to my app. Right? I'm back at the app. And again, I'm going to my home page. I'm just doing a long press. And this is how automatically the link comes there, and you can see a preview there. And then I'm adding a message to you on conducting student meetings. How would you use it? Maybe if I just, okay. And there goes. Again, I add topics. So I say SEL. That's the topic. Very important. Student meetings. Right? And then I'm going to, sorry. And then I'm going to send it to a specific student meetings. Okay. Then I'm going to send it to a specific zone. And this time I like to post it as in my resources and library. I could also, of course, post it in the student well-being zone. So maybe I should do that. Okay. I'm sending it. And there you go. It is getting posted. And very soon it will be available for all of us in the as part of the resources and library. There's a wonderful resource that we have about responsive classroom and about how you can get students to share their concerns, as part of a group meeting. And I urge you to have a look at this resource and tell me what you feel about it. Right? So these are some ways that I feel that we could use this app for professional development, but there could be so many more ways. So then, would you like to add something? Yeah.
No, I think that was really well done, and I'm hoping that your community here found value in it. I think judging by the response to the polls and the questions that you asked, I think this is the beginning of an interesting movement, and I'm hoping to get I'm hoping that all of you would complete your registrations, get on the app, and start using it. And if this becomes this has the potential to become the largest self-supporting ecosystem of teachers and a teacher community in the country if it's used right. And I believe, that is one of the intentions at TTF. Get in as many teachers as possible, make sure that every single individual teacher experiences value via the app and among the community. I think it's great. Thank you, Sandhya.
Absolutely, Sundar. We know that professional development is self-driven. It, as much as it is driven by somebody else attending a workshop, yes, that is a valuable form of professional development. But efforts at sharing ideas, responding to other people's ideas, driving your own professional development also need to be recognized. From the Teacher Foundation and through this app, we are going to recognize your efforts at driving your own PD. Of course, you know that the NEP has mandated that 50 hours of continuous professional development for teachers. So the technology on the app, because what Sundar has done, will help us identify and quantify the amount of effort that each person is putting on the app in terms of their own PD. And at the end of every year, this is a certificate that is going to be issued for those who put in at least minimum of 10 hours of concerted effort at driving their own professional development, right? Of course, it can be more, and based on your effort, you can all that will become available on the certificate. Now, I'll tell you, 10 hours of self-driven PD is just about 15 minutes a week. a week, I'm not talking of a day, 15 minutes a week is what can easily get us 10 hours of professional development over an entire year. Here's wishing all of you in very best in your PD journey, in your professional development journey. Let's remember professional development is not something that is done to us, but it's something that we do for ourselves, with others, by ourselves, and with our peers. That's the way for most effective professional development. Thank you all so much for being a part of this webinar.